What about when the storms come? No.
Well, then you hide your plant. You take it inside. You don't want it to freeze.
It's a hurricane and a tornado.
Tornado. Again, with the tornado and the hurricane, type thing.
Is that hurricane for real?
No, it's a tree. It's a tree.
Oh, so what is this? That's a tree?
I don't even know what that is.
You just
what,
did
the
that.
Jellyfish?
You just did that.
The what? I was just doing a tree, a tree.
This is flag?
You're on my nerve.
Coming to you from 125 Carver in Waco, Texas, it's the Riverside Weekly. We hope your time with us today is thought-provoking, spiritually challenging, and a life-changing experience. Our discussions are fun, real, and at times very uncomfortable. We highly encourage all of our guests and listeners to like and subscribe, and please ring the bell. Now, here are your hosts, Pastor Cello and Pastor Mia.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. It's Wednesday.
Good morning. How's everybody doing? Welcome. Thank you guys for listening to us, continuing to listen to us on iTunes, Spotify.
I don't know any of them.
Anyway.
There's
Twitch,
a ton.
all the stuff that we're on. Man,
A ton.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for posting. Thanks for messaging us. Man, welcome all of our
Sorry, my bad.
Welcome all of our Patreon exclusive folks. Man, thank you guys so much. Man, you can support us for just $5.
Woo!
Hit the link on the back.
Here we go.
Okay.
It's late, but it was there, okay? It was there.
All right, what are we getting into?
Anyway, yes, please support us on our Patreon. We do post random things on there, and I love it. So I just went yesterday actually, and went and checked mine to make sure that it was still available because I hadn't gotten anything. So I was like, what is happening? I'd like some Patreon
There should be
content.
stuff there.
There was.
Oh, okay.
There was.
Notifications must be off.
Yes, they were.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, so welcome everybody to the podcast. Today we have a toss-up between topics. So we're just going to roll with 7. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
We're going to roll with 1, and we are talking about relationships today.
Okay.
And wait. That one I don't have to look up, so it's fine. But we are talking about relationships because I feel like because Mother's Day is coming up, we should talk about relationships and how they build up.
Manipulation?
No,
guilt trips.
No. Because I feel like relationships are really built how your parents, how you were raised, and you saw them and not their relationship together, but the way they were in their relationships with people around.
Oh, that's good.
Right?
That's absolutely true.
So, and I'm not saying that dads aren't like that, because they are too. They do give a lot of wisdom and knowledge, and they do help with relationships, but that mother fosters that caring relationship. What?
No,
I was like, did I say something wrong?
No.
And I feel dads just don't get contextual clues, And I say that all the time because really men just do not. They don't get contextual clues. And
most men.
I was going to say, got a lot of guys out there going, wait a minute, what about me? Type thing. So
They got the clue.
Huh? They don't have a clue.
No, I said they got a clue.
Yeah. That was pretty funny. Thanks. Thanks. But I just wanted to talk about relationships because I really believe relationships, and I said this to someone, and it just stuck with me and resonated, and I feel like we should bring it here and lay it all on the table. Get it? The table. All right. And but I feel like relationships are like plants, relationships have roots, and depending on what kind of plant.
Plants have roots.
Relationships too.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I'm telling you how
sorry.
plant.
Sorry for interrupting you.
Contextual clues. Anyway, so plants Plants have roots, but relationships have roots. They're like plants. So when you get a baby plant, it has a baby root. But when you get a plant and you get it in a small container, the roots begin to grow in that container. So you have to take it from that pot and move it to a next pot. And then from the next pot, as it grows, you move it to the bigger pot because its roots go deeper and deeper down. That's how relationships are to me. I feel like if you're fostering a relationship the same way that you're raising that plant, you're watering it, you're giving it sunlight, you're talking to it. No, I'm not a green thumb, okay? That's not me. That's my grandmother and my sister that you're talking about. But just seeing the way that they've raised their plants, and I'm learning to take care of my plants. I've had them for a year.
Kudos. Been a year.
And none have died. Woo! 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 All right. So, but noticing them and having to change pots and plant and, and move them as they grow and move them from the spot they're on because it's too big where they are, that is so cool to see. And I believe that our relationships are the same.
I can see that. I can see that. I'll allow that.
Okay.
I'll
okay.
allow that.
Okay. So when you start a new relationship, it's like a baby plant. You plant it, water it, and watch it grow, as my daughter says. It's a song. I give and it's given to me. My God shall supply my need. Same thing. So it's faith as a mustard seed. But our relationships are like that too. And so when we plant that relationship, we meet somebody and we plant it and we're like, we need to foster this relationship. We should water it. In other words, we need to meet. We need to talk. We need to get to know each other. We need some sunlight. That means we need to cheer each other up. And we need to call each other.
What about when the storms come? No.
Well, then you hide your plant. You take it inside. You don't want it to freeze.
It's a hurricane and a tornado.
Tornado. Get it right.
Okay.
So anyway, he likes to make fun of that. But I'm just saying that I feel like, when I told somebody this, it just was like a moment that, and it could have been a Rhema moment, but it just went in my brain, and I was like, oh my goodness, kind of like bodies need water, like our cars need water, But
Plants
water.
need water.
Yeah. Yes. I too need water. But I'm just saying that, it just made me think about our relationships and how we need to foster them, because this is what happened. I'm not even going to tell you the scenario, but as I was using this analogy, it was like the deeper our relationships go, that's...
The more that you get to grow.
Yeah, that too. Again, with the tornado and the hurricane, type thing.
Is it a hurricane for real?
No, it's a tree. It's a tree.
Oh, so what is this? That's a tree?
I don't even know what that is.
You just
what,
did
the
that.
Jellyfish?
You just did that.
The what? I was just doing a tree, a tree.
What's this flag?
You're on my nerve. No.
Sorry.
You better stop. I'm
Okay.
done. Okay. Anyway, and we're back. But just saying that to say that as we build those relationships, I feel like the deeper the relationship is, it's deep rooted. A big pot has a lot of roots down in there.
Yep.
And so you've got a lot of memories and a lot of experiences and a lot of stories and a lot of relationship building in that pot, that huge pot. But when it's a tiny pot, it doesn't have very many roots. And it can easily be swayed by heavy, light wind or storms.
Storms of life. The storms of life.
Okay, that.
The storms of life.
Yeah,
Like that.
and they can easily be uprooted by a heavy wind.
Or by a grandkid, flipping them over side. And
Yeah, that too. Or plucking them one by one, Macy.
Look, I like it.
Yeah. And anyway, so you keep distracting me. Listen, didn't you know that April is Distracted Driver Month? Okay? And I'm driving the bus right now, and you are not getting any context clues.
You do that to me all the
stay
time.
right here. Focus.
Okay, keep going.
I'm just kidding.
And we're back. Again, thanks for the next commercial break.
Yeah. All right. And but I just wanted to say that because it was really something that just blew my mind, that they were having to deal with all the broken relationships that they had in that relationship. Okay. Here's a good example. When you have a plant and it's potted, and you pick it up and you put it in another pot, and then you're like, I don't like that pot, so I'm gonna put it in this pot. No, I don't like it over there. I'm gonna put it in this pot. Oh, I found a new one, and I'm gonna put it in this pot. Eventually, those roots start to die because it's not stable. That's how relationships are. That relationship starts to die because you keep uprooting it. Well, we're friends. Well, we're not friends. Well, we're friends. Well, we're not friends. You're my mom. You're not my mom. I like you, and I don't like you. You know, type thing.
Yeah.
And so you're moving it all the time, and no roots can grow, and they can't attach themselves to the ground. You know.
I think a big part of that is going back to the very beginning. We said I think a lot of times we learn how to be friends. We learn how to have relationships with aunts and uncles and cousins. We learn how to have relationships with siblings. We learn how to have relationships with grandparents, with coworkers, with churchgoers. Like we have all these different relationships, but we literally learn those relationships. I love what you said. We learn those relationships by what we see our parents do or those that we respect do. You know,
Or who raised us.
Yeah, because I mean, I've had people tell me, my own kids, it's like, man, why are you still friends with those people? Why are you why, you know, like they've asked me, like, why do you go visit the family if they behave this way and they act that way? Like, you know, because those are all relationships, you know, coworkers, you know, my kids have asked me questions like, why do you do this? And the thing that I always tell them is because I'm trying to be the aunt. I'm trying to be the uncle. I'm trying to be the cousin. I'm trying to be the coworker. I'm trying to be the friend or the best friend. I'm trying to be the father. I'm trying to be the brother that I would like to have. That's what
So you're trying to set a good example. Okay.
Yeah, but you know, I'm trying to make sure. I didn't ever think about it until just now, but I was literally trying to be the example so that my kids would know how to have relationships. You know, when our kids, when they get to the age of driving, you know, I told them, like, you can have a driver's license, you can get a car and a driver's license, or you can be in a romantic relationship. You can have a boyfriend or girlfriend, but you can't have both.
Because they're very hard to maintain.
They're hard to maintain, and they're both very, very valuable. You know, and so I think a lot of people don't put a lot of emphasis on the value of relationships.
Yeah, I agree.
We use them. We literally just use people and use things that they can offer us instead of just really caring, you know, and caring about things. And I think
a lemon plant or a lemon tree or a jalapeno plant, tomato plant.
You're just worried about the fruit it's going to produce.
Yeah, and when it stops producing, what do?
Get rid of it or wait for the next season, so you don't even take care of it between seasons. You're just waiting, you know. But I think that's good. I think we do. I think as adults, young adults, anybody listen, I think we need to pay closer attention to how we foster or neglect relationships because our kids are watching. Our kids are watching how we communicate with our grandparents, communicating how we communicate with our aunts and our uncles,
our cousins.
You know, so we literally, this is so good. We literally give them the freedom or the boundaries how to regulate relationships by the way that they watch us regulate our own relationships.
I love that.
So if we let people walk on us and walk all over us, they're going to. If we don't set boundaries with relationships, they're not going to set boundaries. If we care for people, they're going to genuinely care for people, like my mom always cares or my dad always cares. You know, I always see this.
That's
you know, and so I think we do model. I think we do model for our children and our people in our lives how we handle relationships. Even as adults, I think when we have new relationships that we develop, we model how we handle relationships with others. I had a young man tell me a couple of months back, you know, he goes, man, I admire how you handle your relationships with your kids, how you handle relationships with people. Like you really give attention or attentive to them when you're there with them. You're not just like on your phone all the time. And he's like, I want to be able to have those types of relationships and build those types of relationships. And I was like, wow, because you don't really hear people say stuff like that. So it really kind of took me back, but it made me think like, man, I guess what I'm doing is working a little bit, you know. But I think I do agree with you. I think we do model what relationships should look like, whether they're good or bad.
Yeah.
To our children, first off, to our grandchildren, and then to our coworkers and
Mm-hmm.
people that are watching us. So if we're talking to a coworker about a coworker or about a supervisor, they're seeing how we handle our relationships.
Yeah. And I guess, I didn't really go into depth about how I use that analogy, but basically I was talking about death, and I was saying, what they said was, I'm not sure how to feel because it was a broken relationship, right? And so the roots didn't go very deep, and they were like, well, I want to cry because I know you're supposed to cry, but I don't want to feel happy and I don't want to feel remorseful, but I feel like, well, you left me, or you were mean to me, or, type thing. And this is what I said. Relationships are like plants. They're either deep-rooted or they're very newly rooted, or maybe they didn't have enough roots because they weren't fostered, And so you are going to cry, but it may be one or two times. And, but if it's deep rooted, it's going to come up because it's there, it's strong, it's planted, and it's going to make you cry and think and,
Yeah, and
have
I think
memories.
I think that just goes with separation. We talked about one time about separation anxiety. And so I think a lot of times when you have those relationships, they, if they're not deep rooted, then there's not a lot of
Reaction?
well, there's not a lot of loss there.
Loss. Yeah, Loss.
When a relationship is fragmented or falls apart, I don't have a lot invested.
Kind of like flowers. And let me talk about that for a minute, because I don't like flowers, and if any one of my kids bring me flowers, and it's not that I don't think they're pretty. Calm down. I just think it's a waste of money because they die, right?
You anti-florist person.
It's not that. I love florists and I love flowers. I just don't want you to
You're
waste
not a
your
spring
money.
person.
I don't want you to waste your money on something that's going to die. Again, just a light root. You know what I mean? But you bring me a plant, and I used to kill it, but obviously I'm getting better. What?
I don't know. I like tomatoes and lettuce.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Kill them plants. Oh,
But you don't have a deep relationship with them, is what I'm saying, Anyway,
it's
I don't know.
pretty deep.
It goes real deep down in there. But I felt like that was something that we needed to talk about with Mother's Day coming. And I'm not saying that all mothers foster relationships and that those are great examples, because there are some people out there going, well, my mother wasn't a great example for me, and she didn't set a great example. Go.
So if you have relationships, friendships, co-worker relationships, like in all these different areas that are not good, change it. Like change. If your relationship with your mom is not good, do what
So
you can.
you be a good mom.
You be a good mom and find somebody, quote unquote, mother figure that you can have a good relationship with. Because a lot
Or
of times,
that you can learn from.
Learn
So
from.
that you can be a better mom.
yeah, because a lot of times what we do is we chalk it off. Well, I didn't have a good relationship with my dad, and I have a good relationship with my brother, so we push it aside. But if we have that attitude, then we'll never ever value or have good relationships, because we're always just like, man, a lot of times people don't
we
trust.
won't have deep
We won't have
roots.
deep root relationships, and you end up at
Deep-rooted.
you talk about you end up at the funeral and it's you and the guy performing the service. Ain't nobody there because you ain't have no deep rooted relationships.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes little rabbit trail, but I think sometimes we get to a place where we're almost excited, and we glorify and we boast about not having friends. Well, I don't have any friends. I don't
I've
have
heard
any
that
friends.
before.
I only have a few friends. My dad always told me, you can count your best friends on one hand, which I agree. But I think you can have a ton of friends and
Or a ton of relationships.
There you go. That's better. Have
Yeah.
a ton of relationships that
But
some
you
may be
have to
deep.
foster them.
Some may be deeper than others.
And some may be surface.
But I
Again,
think, I think how we approach it, and I think a lot of times we can get to that place where we get more proud of not having friends or not having relationships, and that's a lonely place to be.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
Yeah, we went there real quick. But I know that it's Mother's Day coming, and mothers love plants and they love flowers and that type of thing.
I'll tell you what. Since it's Mother's Day, if you buy some flowers, buy them dead, and then they don't have to worry about dying because they're already dead. You just buy them.
Don't listen to him.
I got you some dead flowers. You don't have to worry about them
Don't
dying.
listen to him. Don't listen to him. Plants are good.
Buy some dead plants.
No. Plants are good because they can grow with you. Listen, I'm doing well to have the number of plants that I have, and y'all, I just, I always say this on the podcast, and I shouldn't say it anymore because it's a bad confession, and I know you Christians out there probably, that was derogatory? Was that?
Well,
I'm sorry.
It is now.
Anyway, but some people would say, oh, she shouldn't say that all the time, but I'm not the greatest of friends because I don't remember to call. And I'm learning, what was the podcast what?
No, go ahead. Go ahead, finish first.
What was the podcast we talked about the couple of weeks ago, Talkative One, or what was it called?
I don't remember.
The Conversationalist. Okay, and I'm learning. I listen to people have conversation and ask not how your day was, but how's your schooling going, and and they're asking all these questions, and I'm just like, wow, So.
Well, I was just going to say, if you don't get a phone call or a text message or a post on your Instagram from my wife, it's not because she don't know, because she remembers everybody's birthday. Just say it. Everybody's anniversary. Randomly, we'll be driving. It's so-and-so's birthday. I'm like, how do you remember this? I'm like, oh, my God. So if she doesn't text you, you're not friends.
Oh, God, don't say that. That's not true. That's not true.
Or if you get a random text because she remembers everybody's. The other day we were driving around. She's like, today is Moses' and Abraham's birthday. And
I did not say that. No, but on my calendar it does say John Bevere's birthday's coming up.
John Bevere, like all the people. Anyway.
But I'm just saying, I was filling out my calendar. He's talking about my calendar, y'all. He built me a wall calendar out of chalkboard and a window. It's so cute. And I use chalk markers that are highlights. They're very bright colors. And Fluorescent, thank you. And all the birthdays are in pink, and May is covered in birthdays. And I was just like,
I was like, I don't even know who these people are.
Yeah, he was like, who, what? And I'm just like, shh, just let me put them up there.
What?
But listen, if I do have a relationship with you, then I will know your birthday because those are the roots. See what I'm talking about? Those are the dangly roots.
Okay, nice recovery.
But, some of them are new, so they're just like, clink, so I might not know. But I just wanted to talk about that because it just made me think about moms and fostering those relationships. And my grandmother, my grandmother, she's a great gardener. And my sister is a great gardener. And I can't say gardener, but green thumb because they like plants.
They can keep things from dying.
Yeah. And when they don't, then they're sad about it because they're like, oh man, I lost that one, and they take their plants in and all that, and it's not that I'm learning to be that. It's just that this is a season for, I don't know if it's slow down or I don't even know. It's a new season in my life. So, hey, I'll take the plants, People bought me plants last year for my birthday and they're still alive. So that's one for me. So, it was a great analogy to learning to be a green thumb. And that's why I wanted to talk about it. Anyway, go foster some relationships with your family and celebrate Mother's Day with either a mother figure or your mom or your friends. Somebody.
Coworker.
And foster those relationships and make some roots in there because, the deeper the roots go, the bigger the relationships will get, just like your plants.
Yep.
All right. Love you guys. Thanks for listening. And have a great Mother's Day out there. And go support somebody. Call somebody. Text somebody. All right.
All right. Holler at you later.
Thank you for listening to the Riverside Weekly. Download the Riverside Waco app to stay connected and follow us on all social media sites at the Riverside Waco. This podcast is made possible by the givers of Riverside Community Church. Production and engineering provided by Capital G and RTV in Waco, Texas.